Okay, we have a very interesting video from former federal prosecutor Chuck Rosenberg. He went on MSNBC and he was talking about the Mueller report, which we now know to be a 400-page report, roughly, which Attorney General William Barr summarized to 4 pages. And he made a sort of obvious but still clever remark, which is, as a prosecutor, it never took him 400 pages to say that nothing happened and that no wrongdoing took place. Chuck Rosenberg says the most likely scenario, according to him, is that there were crimes and wrongdoing, but Robert Mueller would explain in his report that he didn't believe it rose to the level of being able to file charges, either because there was missing evidence or because of the political implications of filing or recommending charges against the sitting president. So we're going to dig into that in a second here, because remember, Robert Mueller, I'm guessing, knew that Donald Trump's attorney general had publicly taken the position a year ago or longer at this point that a sitting president cannot be indicted for obstruction. So if you're Robert Mueller and you're making a political calculation, you might say, listen, I've got 85% of what I believe would be necessary for an indictment on obstruction of justice. But the guy who is going to ultimately have to decide about this, Donald Trump's attorney general, William Barr, doesn't even believe at a sort of overarching level that the president can be indicted for obstruction of justice. I'm just not going to go there. And that would actually be extraordinarily problematic, because that is exactly the point of appointing someone like William Barr to be your attorney general. So let's get to a little bit of this interview with former prosecutor Chuck Rosenberg, who you'll notice is very calm and clear in his demeanor. He states when he's speculating, but he defends the speculation. We'd be much better off if we had more analysts who were like Chuck Rosenberg.
He probably flew over to Main Justice, but putting mode of transportation aside, it's never taken me 400 pages to say nothing happened. And so I imagine something happened, and that something, particularly with respect to obstruction, was quite serious. But I have a theory. I think it's plausible as to why Mueller didn't recommend prosecution or declination on the obstruction. It goes as follows. The Department of Justice has in place policies, one dates to the 70s, one to 2000, that say to charge a sitting president would be overly burdensome, it would stigmatize the presidency, and so we just don't charge sitting presidents. With that in mind, even if the obstruction constituted a crime, and it may well have, we don't know that yet, I could imagine Mueller not making a recommendation, because a recommendation to prosecute someone you can't prosecute is equally burdensome and equally stigmatizing.
This is just the most likely and obvious scenario. Nothing Chuck Rosenberg is saying here is controversial. Now, the one thing I disagree with is his use of the word policy for the Justice Department not charging presidents. It's more of a tradition which has not been tested in terms of whether it would actually stand up to the law. I think there is no question that the founding fathers did not establish a framework for this country that gave the president this type of immunity from and by the Justice Department. Otherwise, what Chuck Rosenberg is saying is basically it. It's common sense. Go back to Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings and the investigation surrounding that. Republicans were able to come up with a report that couldn't definitively pin sexual assault on Brett Kavanaugh, which, of course, we knew would be difficult to definitively pin on him in such an investigation that is taking place decades after it allegedly happened. Republicans took that report, which said we can't definitively say he sexually assaulted someone, and they transformed it like putty in their hands into the report totally clears Brett Kavanaugh. They hid the report itself, and then it became very difficult to argue against confirming him because you had the absence of a totally unrealistic burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt against Brett Kavanaugh. You had the report itself hidden, and you had Republicans saying he's been cleared. That's very similar to what's happening here with Donald Trump. In both cases, you have a report that supposedly clears Kavanaugh and Donald Trump. The report is summarized by partisan actors, hidden, at least so far, the Mueller report has been, from public view. And then the Republicans use these hidden reports and political summaries to claim that there's been an exoneration used in Kavanaugh's case to justify confirmation to the Supreme Court, in Trump's case to justify this media tour claiming that he has been completely cleared of all wrongdoing and fully exonerated, even though we've not actually seen any evidence to suggest that that's the case. I know that when I say this, people get mad. They've played it really well. And when I say that, people say, David, it's not that they've played it well. It's that their base is so stupid and ignorant that they're falling for it. Well, they've played it as well as they needed to for the base that they have. So in that sense, they have played it well. My question to you today, which we also asked about on our YouTube community poll, do you think we will ever see the full Mueller report? Let me know. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. A quick break. We'll be right back. One of today's sponsors is privacy.com/Pakman. This is a free service that I've actually been using myself for a while now, and I love it. You just take a few seconds to link your debit card or bank account to privacy.com's mobile app or browser extension for Firefox and Chrome. And what that does is allow you to instantly create virtual credit cards that are linked to your bank account so that you're not actually putting your real debit card number on the internet. And you use these virtual credit card numbers to buy things online. And with one click of a button, you have the ability to create multiple virtual cards, delete cards, freeze and unfreeze cards. You can put a limit on a card so a company won't be able to charge you more than you actually want them to. And it protects you from being hacked. It protects you from companies being hacked, which we've been talking about for a while on the program. And it's perfect for signing up for free trials somewhere if you don't want your real credit card number to be exposed and on file. And their app and browser extension let you autofill the virtual credit card number into the credit card field when you're buying things online. There are a ton of different advantages to shopping and paying bills with a system like this. Everything is totally secure and encrypted. And in some situations, you can earn 5% cash back on your purchases. It's all completely free. All you have to do is click the link under this video to get started. And for a limited time, everybody in our audience who signs up gets $5 towards your first purchase when you sign up using that link below.